Jerome Bouillon, welcome to Acquiring Minds.
Hi, Will. Good afternoon. Happy to be there. Thank you for what you're doing for all of us, business owners.
Thank you for listening. Jerome, you bought a home care agency in Asheville, North Carolina. You were recently to the area, having moved with your family from Florida. Today, that business operates smoothly, mostly on its own, and you've acquired another location in Lenoir, North Carolina, about an hour away. Both of these locations are part of the Visiting Angels franchise. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. Your interesting story, how and why you bought these particular businesses, the world of home care, which is one we hear about a lot in this space, and of course, franchising. So let's start with your interesting story. Jerome, can you start us off with a little background, please?
Well, as your listener will hear, I am French, so I hope you have subtitles somewhere for some of y'all. I moved in the US in 2000, it's 10 years now. Actually, this year will be 10 years, in 2013. Prior to being in the US, I used to be in France and in Belgium and in the UK. I used to do banking. In 2008, 2010 was big banking crisis, and I was made redundant and looking for jobs in Europe and couldn't find anything. So my wife, who has an American passport, said, let's go explore my American roots, and we moved to the US.
Okay, Jerome. So what year is it now that you guys land in Asheville? And how old are you at this moment, if you don't mind?
49 years old, 2017.
Okay. And the concept of buying a business is obviously not new to you. You were a business broker for a while, and you come from the world of banking, so you're probably sophisticated in the world of buying and selling businesses and the possibilities there. But how is it that you decide that that's what you want to do, to buy a business in Asheville?
Buying a business is, professionally, I've always been a bit, some people call it, I don't know if it's a word in American, intrapreneur, trying to, from inside the business. I always wanted to provide value to my different employer. The problem when you have this attitude is sometimes you kind of want to run the show and not be run. So I think I should have actually bought a business way before my 50th birthday. But I was scared. It's scary, it's stressful, I'm originally French. English is not my first language. So, it's kind of somewhere. But, being an entrepreneur is basically jumping out of the plane with someone catching you with a parachute, and you say, hey, at the grace of God or inshallah or whatever, and just pray for the best and hope that you fall right? So that's what it is about. So I decided to take the plunge. So I cold call in that industry because that's where I wanted to be, and found a guy who wanted to sell and make a deal and move on.
So you decide then that you want to be in the home care space, and you start cold calling around home care businesses in Asheville. So I assume at this point you haven't been plugged into the world of search or read Buy Then Build. I'm not even sure it was published in 2017, or I think it was right.
No idea.
This is just you following your own nose.
Yeah.
I was just at SM Bash, the small business conference this weekend, and there was a panel discussion about how to approach owners when you're interested in having a conversation about buying their business, because it is kind of hard to walk in the front door and say, hey, can I talk to the boss because I want to buy this business? Or maybe I want to buy this business. So what did your script look like when you were cold calling around?
Well, I'm French, so politically correct is not in my nature. So I just call the front desk, say, hey, can I speak to the owners? They say, what is regarding to? I say, it's personal, but I can assure you they want to talk with me. And I can't remember exactly how I found my way there, but I was able to call to people always interested. My gift somewhere is this deep, thick French accent. That's probably what get me through the door, because even if I was mumbling something, the person on the phone didn't understand a thing and told to the owner, you probably want to talk to that guy. So that's probably how I did it, more than, having a fun speech. And just after, I'm kind of pretty, like what you see. So I just say, hey, there is no turning around, say, oh, I love your business. They say, hey, do you want to sell your business? That's literally how I presented to the previous owner of Visiting Angels. Say, hey, my name is Jerome. I used to be a business broker. I always wanted to be in that field. I would like to buy your business. Will you be open to sell it? And the guy say, well, actually, there is never a good time to sell. I was expecting to sell in 1 or 2 years, but we can have that conversation. And that's it. So on the 3 or 4, I in Asheville, there was not a lot at the time. On the 3 or 4, I called. One didn't want to sell because she just bought it. The other one wanted to keep the business for her kids. She had several already. It's another franchise. Slightly different than Visiting Angels, because at Visiting Angels, we just do home care. And the guys from Visiting Angels. Mm-hmm. So that's it.
Great. And what was the next step? Did you take this gentleman to lunch, or talk us through the
He took me for lunch.
Right. That's how it
we
should
went
go.
with my wife. We met with both wives because his wife was helping him operating the business. And my wife would say, well, I can help you at the beginning. I don't want to do that all my life, but I can help you at the beginning. So we went for lunch together, and we kind of start talking around, what it looks like, what we need to do. There was also from him educating me about, what it is to buy a franchise, that you need to talk to the franchisor, you need to vet it, you need to have the right background, the thing. For me, it was very new, the franchise area. It's basically you have to be vetted, pass a test, and talk with, I don't know, people at the franchise level, but I must say that the folks in Visiting Angels were very, very easy to talk with and make that happen pretty quickly.
And did you have any particular bias about franchises? Like you didn't want it or wanted it, or you were just kind of pretty open?
Actually, I was open. I know that there is a lot of talk, hey, franchises, why you want to pay a fee or something like that. But only, man, if you want to be in a service industry, you want to have a brand which is recognized by everyone, okay? And you, with your little pocket, cannot make that happen at the state of Western North Carolina or Lenore, Hickory, and Morganton, where is my other franchise. So buying in someone who have a national recognized name is fantastic. Then after you look to, and we can talk more about franchising, but you have to look what they offer and the value for money at living as the franchise is called Living Assistant is just fantastic. So actually I was very lucky because I learned that from other franchisors in our industry that they have a more straitjacket than us. So,
yeah, and we are going to get into more of that and how you perceive the Visiting Angels franchise, why it's so valuable to you. Okay, and so you and your respective wives go to lunch, and you're feeling each other out the rough terms of what it would feel like to buy this are coming together in a few conversations, and the deal just evolves and eventually.
We both sign NDAs, and it starts sharing exactly what the number was looking like, what did experience, what was the difficulty of the business, where was the business before, where you think it should be. He used to be in a pharmaceutical industry, quite high up in one of those Pfizer kind of thing there. So he was a very process-oriented guy. But yes, so we just talked about it. And he come up with a number. I say, I don't agree. I came with a different number, but I was pretty generous in terms of my offer. 2 reasons. One, at the time, there was only a numerous clauses. There was only a certain number of franchise for home care that was allowed in the state of North Carolina. They took that cap. So the valuation, so to speak, went down. So there was that element, and the territory is up. The guy we started the franchise here in Asheville was an Army Ranger, and he know how to read maps. So he's done a good job of, carving out a nice territory. So that there's, I could do much more than what I'm doing now. A bit frustrated not to be there, but I can do much more. That's what I'm doing now. So I pay a bit. I pay him a good price. But, at the end of the day, you can always try to penny count a thing, but when there is an opportunity, what is it for you? What is it worth for you? I mean, at the time I had no job, no revenue.
Well, certainly any kind of opportunity where there's a cap on the supply and you're buying into that capped supply. So you're going to be it's basically a regulated, there's regulatory capture in a way, and you're being able to participate in that. That's worth something. Now, sadly for you, I guess that went away a little bit later, but you seem to be doing just fine. Thank you very much. So Jerome, can you share any of the numbers around the size of the business or the deal?
Yeah, well, I body was around, I think, $500,000 a year. We above the $1 million mark for this year.
It was at $500,000 in revenue when you acquired it, and now it's over $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was 2018. It was 2018 when you acquired it?
I bought it for my 50th birthday, so December 31st.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's 2017 or beginning of 2018 or end of 2017. So yes. And I just saw a post on LinkedIn that where people say, hey, when you buy a business, there's a dip. And they had a huge customer. That was a 24/7 case. We call that whale in our industry. We call them whale customer because they're just a big chunk of money. Mm-hmm. And I was not comfortable with this because it was representing probably 20 or 25% of the revenue of the business. So in a way, I bought the business. I didn't add any bank financing. Okay, the seller issued notes, and the rest I bought cash. And in the financing, in the notes, there was some provision in case that customer disappeared before 3 months or 6 months. And once I was, after a year, when I was comfortable with the business and there was no, hidden thing like that, I just paid back the note time. Not a big fan of credit. Mm-hmm. I don't like to owe money. So I change a bit. When you want to go bigger, you have to change. Mm-hmm. But at the beginning, we self-finance it, a lot of it. But multiple was probably in the high threes, or mid 3.5 probably. And that's it. So I was the first 6 months, I was, if you sit in front of a hose and you get hosed down, mm-hmm. That's how I felt for 6 months.
Drinking from the fire hose. Drinking from the fire hose.
Yes, that was a journey.
Well, let's hear about that, Jerome. So you recognized you were buying a job. So talk to us about what the first, I guess, 6 months, but also a year or two in the business. From our pre-call, I recall that you were very much working in the business for a while, and it took some time to figure out how to smooth out the operation so that you could extract yourself, which is where you are now. So let's kind of get into that progression. Talk to us more about that fire hose in the first 6 months.
Yeah. So first you have to know that I am a bit of I am still, but I was a bit of a control freak. So if you are a control freak and don't want to change, do not buy home care business.
Okay.
Because I used to be in finance, you buy bonds and they behave the way it's supposed to behave and pay you back the way it's supposed to behave normally, right? Here in business, in home care, it's not the case. It's just like people who buy business, when you walk into the office, you never know what's going to happen. In home care, it's particularly true. So the first 6 months was learning the schedule, learning the caregiver, learning the customer, how to hire people. Signing up customer. At the time, we were going in people's house and, explaining what we were doing. And, it's a very, very lengthy process. So that was not very efficient. I think COVID changed things for the best, personally, but in terms of the way people react now to technology. But at the time, it was pretty much, and the business was run, it was not run as we run it now. It was more a lot of paper, a lot of, the seller had an old scheduling software that was not even supported by the business anymore. So So, and holds a little thing about, the state regulation when it's come to home care, the state regulation when it's come to payrolls, the federal regulation. So there was a lot. And my wife was doing the schedule and we're trying to learn how to do it. And that was her, myself, and an assistant. The owner stayed for a while. He stayed probably up to 3 months. And then because I was not at the time a director, I had the previous owner stay as an interim director or consultant for a year, which was great because that's sometime when I have question or issue, I can always talk to her, say, hey, how did you deal with that in the past and things like that, because sometimes you hear stories that's pretty funny. I mean, there's stories that I can't say on air right now, but there's probably someone can write a book because we all face with the same thing when you deal with people. And so generally funny. But yeah, so
well, Jerome, actually, you don't, maybe if this particular story is one you can't tell, although I'd love for you to. We're going to spend some time here learning about the home care business because we hear about it a lot. Do give us a story or two or an example or two about some of the craziness that can happen in this world. Paint a picture so people can really get a feel for this business.
I can give you a story of the beauty of it. Because there are some beauty of it. One of my, we have caregivers from all ages, okay? Mm-hmm. One of my caregivers is 81 years old. So she's basically older than some of the customers.
Yeah.
She works for us, 25 or 30 hours. Then she volunteer on plenty of charity on a Saturday, on a Friday, on a Sunday. I don't know how she finds time for herself, but she's an amazing caregiver. When we hire her, she had the flip phone. So, and we all works out from an app. So flip phone and app doesn't really work. And I tell her, Nancy, you probably want to get a smartphone. Okay. So she basically went to buy a smartphone and come back 2 days later, say, show me how it works, and 81 years old, and pick up how to use a smartphone and an app. So that's already genius. I love her for that.
Yeah.
But the other day, she was taking care of a gentleman, and he was a veteran because we do service veterans, and that's also, I had another unbelievable story about that. But the guy was a veteran, and she took a good care of him, and the family loved her for, helping the veteran. And the veteran was very sick, and he was expecting her granddaughter that arrived. I do believe they gave her the name of the caregivers. They gave her the name of Nancy. The baby was named Nancy after the caregiver because they love the caregiver so much. So that's already fantastic. Wow. And she came back to the office and she get me cry. I never cry. She said, Jerome, I want you to show you something. And she pulled her phone. There was a picture there. The veteran passed away. And he basically was a picture, her bishop told her to show us the picture. So she went to say, my bishop told me that I need to show you a picture. So, okay, what's a picture about? I was intrigued. And it was a picture of that gentleman looking face to a newborn baby. And the story is waited for a newborn baby to come, and he passed away 2 hours after.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
That's the beauty of our industry. So you have people like that who say, well, it's come to the why that we talked about. Why are you there? When I have that, I know why I'm here. To facilitate that love and compassion.
And we're going to talk more about that. But actually, Jerome, that reminds me. So when you first arrived in Asheville and decided that this was the type of business that you wanted to acquire, was it because you were motivated by some sort of emotional why, or was it kind of purely a business decision?
No, from what I saw around me, everyone who's in that industry, involved in that industry, has a why. Okay, there is a reason why they're taking perfect people or people who are on bedridden, like that. I lost my mom when I was 30 years old from cancer, and I saw my dad taking care of her and how hard it was to, as a family member take care of a loved one. So that's my why. And then in a business decision, it's being in that segment of the market, it's, you have, I don't have any issue having customer normally. We have more and more people growing older and wanted to stay at home too. So, so the problem in that business is not to get the customer. So that's also for me, being an ex-bond fund manager, it was it's kind of buying a bond basically. I know I'm going to have customer. Okay. The difficulty I found out after probably the first 3 months is in the business is I need to find caregiver. So when I bought the business, I say, oh, that's fine. I'm going to, we haven't done that on the segment of customer. And after 3 months, I say, no, I get it completely wrong. The key is to find the caregiver and keep them, not to find customers. So.
And did your seller not communicate that, or maybe you hadn't told him? Or
Yes, but it's always, you listen to someone, but you kind of, if you're an entrepreneur, you kind of bit of an alpha male somewhere, or a know-it-all. So you listen and say, yeah. But yeah, he probably communicated to me, but I was not listening. But I found out very quickly that in that business, we have two types of customer. We have the person who want to stay longer at home if possible, safely. And we have our employee, our customer too.
Well, in our pre-call, you said that, and that really stayed with me, that was kind of an epiphany for you, that yes, you stopped seeing your caregivers as your staff, as your employees, which they are technically, of course, but you started seeing them as customers as well, because hiring and retention is the big bottleneck, is the big challenge in this business. And so when that shifted in your mind to seeing your caregivers as your quote unquote customers as well, how did that change your behavior as their employer?
I didn't really change my behavior because I was never, the way I run my office is a very fast structure. My office people can call me out if I don't do things I'm supposed to do. I push them to do it because we all, it's kind of all on the same boat somewhere. So I need to show example. Even if I don't do something, they don't dare really do it, but I would like them to do it more because I have no issue with that. And for my caregiver, I always, when you hear the story of Nancy, I have a lot of respect for what they do. I could not do it. I was in a couple of times in a situation where I had to, be there for safety for a customer, waiting for the caregiver to arrive. And once it was an elderly lady that has Alzheimer, and it was in the morning, and I was praying all my heart that she doesn't wake up. She might have been surprised. So no, I think what happened is actually make me realize that the way we were addressing our caregiver needs were not completely addressed, and we needed to. And that's very recent. We changed the whole paradigm a few months ago. So we decided, and I don't want to enter into details, to have a different way of looking at our caregiver and explaining what we do to them and how we treat them and things like that. So there is we put a whole package, and I'm looking right now to see how it works and if we're able to have retention. I know that we are one of the good agencies in town in terms of revenue, but people will not leave you because of the money. People will leave you because you don't respect them, you yell at them, you don't give them opportunity to growth. For growth, you don't offer stuff that you could offer easily. So, one of the first thing I did when I joined the business is I put all my caregiver on Aflac, and instead of Aflac normally you pay 50% and they pay 50%, I pay 100% of it, period. It's not a question of cost. I don't want to start a debate on healthcare in the US, but I think that was at least the minimum I can do for my caregivers. So I gave them pay time off, and I gave them Aflac 100% payable. Basically. So it doesn't make you, they don't necessarily realize what the gift is, but I can tell you that I have two caregivers that was not able to work, and both of them get a nice check from Aflac, and they realize after the gift it was, because one of them get a check of $4,000, another one $8,000, because they were out of work for 4-6 months. I paid them Aflac 100%, so it didn't cost them anything.
And so, Jerome, for people who don't know, tell them what Aflac is.
Aflac is a I think they call it a cafeteria plan. So it's a supplementary healthcare that you can pay for your employee. Aflac, or you have Colonial Life, or you have or plenty of things that are dedicated to small business, where you give them, kind of a package of, if they injure outside of work, and they can get a certain number of, because in our industry, our caregiver, our employee are not full time. Okay. We don't guarantee hours. So, because of that, we don't necessarily have the same package that big box company offer. But Aflac is basically there for, you can, life insurance, accident insurance. There is a couple of things that you can pay for you. And if they want to have some staff themselves, they have access to it at a very, very low price. I think I've got a caregiver who bought a life insurance. I think it's I can't remember if it's 10,000 or 20,000 or something, but she paid $5 a month or $10 a month for it. So it's nothing. So yeah, it's not healthcare, but it can help from time to time.
That's great, Jerome. Thank you for that. And going back to the retention of caregivers in this industry, it's a industry with a strong why. Most people operating in this business have a strong why. As you said, many of them have had a family situation where they've seen the power of home care or the need for it when it wasn't there. And so they're motivated by a why, much less so than money. I would think, kind of intuitively, if folks are motivated by doing the work rather than money, they'd actually be easier to retain, not harder. Why do you find that? Why is it that not the case?
Well, the people we hire still need to make a living. Okay. We have several kind of segment of caregiver. Okay. Some of them are retirees and they are bored and they want to give back. We have one of our caregivers, a retired pediatrician MD. She just do caregiving, and I ask her why, and say, well, it's paid for my mission trip. The money I won't gain, I give it for the mission trip. You have people who have been working in that industry for many years, and they can't work in facility anymore because sometimes facility, it's a lot of hours, but it's hard work and it's hard on the back and the body. So they come in home care where we're not supposed to lift more than 25. For me, not more than 25 pounds. And they kind of, it's supplemental revenue for when they retire. So we have there some nurses, some retired activity director from nursing homes, things like that. And those guys know how to handle customer and elderly people. They are in that industry because I have to talk to them often because they took care of an elderly when they were younger or took care of their mother and basically fell in love with it. But they still need to make a living or extra money. So why work for me at $10 if they can work for the other at 13? So we still need to be competitive, right? So, so there is that element there. And then after you have single moms that need to take care of the kid and pick them up after 3, or, kids call out because the school can have him because he's coughing or he has COVID. Well, you can't work in a regular facility with this kind of people because you get terminated. But in home care, we offer that. For me, for my business, I offer that flexibility of, if you sometimes not good, but if you sometimes have to call out, we understand and can work with you. It's not only people are motivated by money because they need to pay the gas and the thing, but it's a two together, which is important. When you have people who are just there for the money, I don't know for other agency, but with me, they don't stay long.
One of the characteristics of this business too that you're making clear is the scheduling is a big part of it. Any home care agency, they have a full-time person, as I understand it, if not more, devoted just to scheduling. And the nature of the work, you said, at least in your case, your employees are not full-time. And so there's flexibility there, but it's also on the other side for your customers, your actual customers, the folks receiving the care. They also all have different needs, right? So somebody might need 3 hours every Monday, whereas somebody else needs 5 hours every day, sort of thing. And so you're always playing Tetris with these schedules to match your supply with their demand, right?
Yes, it's a Tetris. It's Tetris, exactly. You need to practice Tetris first before doing scheduling. It's a good one. Yes, it's a.
Another let me use your metaphor that you said to me pre-call, which I thought was good. It's also a train that never stops running. So there's never a pause because people have care needs. People's care needs never stop. So it's not like at 5 o'clock, everybody goes home. This scheduling challenge is just persistent and there's no pause, no respite.
No, it's, I mean, when you talk about, you asked me the question about working in the business and how I get out, and I can revert back to that. My wife done the scheduling for, I don't know how many months or year, and I don't know how she did it. I did it 6 months, and I met Larry, which is the owner of and creator of our brand, Visiting Angels, our living assistant. And he's a fantastic leader, fantastic person. And he look at me, say, Jerome, who's doing the scheduling? I said, me. And kind of look at me, say, you crazy or what? so I said, you think I should get a schedule? I said, yeah. And actually, it's helped me to, step out. I learned a lot of things doing scheduling. Back to one of your previous interview, it's probably important to do, especially in small business, to be very hands-on at the beginning, because you can call BS when people are, not doing what they're supposed to do. Say, you've been there before, so you know exactly what. And scheduling is probably one of the most important function in our business. So yes, it's so I bought a scheduler and actually paid for very quickly. So I didn't. It's part of the thing is. Sometimes it's difficult, and that was one of my mistakes at the beginning, is I was trying to sit on my purse, I didn't want to spend too much. And I was, I was afraid to spend money and not having money at the end of the month for the bill and things like that. So kind of in fear, and fear is never, you need to be fearless. And I probably could have done better if I was more investing more in my business and trusting more in my guts and in the brand. So good advice for everyone: don't have tight purse. I try to same thing for my team. I pay people, but I didn't want them to pay too much, and I was trying to penny pinch. And at the end of the day, that's a very bad calculation, because I have now a team in Nashville. I touch wood because you never know, but for the last year. I was more careful hiring. I spent a month doing 3 jobs at the same time. I had no one in the office but me, and I was doing everything because I didn't want to hire the wrong people, because I've done it in the past many times, 2-3 times. I hired the wrong people. And I basically didn't listen to myself, and I hire anyone and that will do, and I will train that person. That's not true. That's not how it works. So I hire first my office manager, who's become my office assistant, that's now an office manager. And when we wanted to hire a new scheduler, because when she joined, there was a scheduler there, we sit down and we just visualize what is the scheduler that we want, what is the experience she wants, what is it a female, is it male, kind of getting a general idea of a good picture of what that person looked like. And we found out scheduler can, like that. And she's been with us since, and doing great also as well.
Well, Jerome, so it sounds like you went from being really hesitant to hiring anybody, resistant to hiring anybody because you were overly frugal and as you said, you're a control freak, a micromanager, to then once you opened. And by the way, the metaphor, what was the expression? Sitting on your purse? That's
yes.
A French idiom?
I don't know what That's it is, but or tight purse or whatever. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I like sitting on your purse. That works. So you're sitting on your purse, you're not wanting to spend any money, you're micromanaging, and then you realize that this is madness and you're open to hiring people. And then it sounds like you kind of went through some hires where you had hired too quickly, not selectively enough, not wisely enough. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of compensated in the wrong direction. And then now you've settled back into a good place where you guys got a little bit more refined in your hiring process and more selective and more patient. And then that was the sweet spot. And now you've got really good people in there.
And this is one of the reasons you need to know how to do their job, because the day they leave, you can do it. It won't be funny, but the people can leave you in in a day. Say, I'm done, thank you. It's happened to me with the other location at the beginning. Okay, so you have to do it yourself. So that's the reason why you need to have an idea of how to do it. I'm not just being, coming from the top and I have no idea what's going on. On small businesses, bigger businesses is less of an issue, but small businesses, we always have a key person issue all the time because we're not big enough. So that's also one of the reasons why I bought a second franchise, is to have kind of, trying to have a bigger team like that I can piggyback on each other, which we did, thankfully. When I had a couple of issues with a new location, my office manager at my Asheville location was able to take some of the burden from me, like that I could focus on doing the scheduling there while looking for scheduling.
Let's get up to speed. What does a mature office look like? So in Asheville, you're at over $1 million. Tell us how many people are working in that business, and then I want to get into the numbers a little more, whatever you can share. So what does the people look like?
Yeah, we probably have 30, or we all have W-2 employee, not 1099. We probably have 30 or 40 on payroll. Some of them are not full-time. But the office admin team, there is office managers, there is our care coordinator / scheduler. We have a part-time nurse, and I'm looking now hiring probably a marketer, person to go in a community and market our services to, rehab center, hospital, thing like that. And I'm probably also as well will look at recruiting a person just specifically to hiring, and, we have a couple of things up our sleeves that we want to develop. So I'm going to splurge. I'm going to get poor. But I'm sure that it will pay for. It will pay for. It will pay. So I'm not stressed. And so yes, and that's probably what we're going to do. So right now we have, and I have two in a Lenoir location too, which are an office manager and a care coordinator.
Okay.
But they have a less number of hours, so they have a bit of free time for themselves. So I need to find them stuff to do.
And that's just because it's a smaller office.
It used to be a bigger one, but the owner didn't drop the ball, but he had other issues, family and business-wise, and it basically was not as involved in the business as he was when he created it, because he created that business from the bottom up, which, I have a lot of respect for people who do startup. So I basically bought it once again, I pay a certain price, probably higher than I should have, but it's a territory which is just adjacent to me, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me to expand there and create a platform, because there is a bit of synergy between the two.
So you now have these contiguous territories for Visiting Angels.
Yeah, and I hear someone in your podcast say one day, you need to wait a bit before buying your second business. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. Like you can do all the mistakes for the first one. I wanted to buy one last year. I missed it. And I was 4 years in the business. And our franchisor also asked us to reach certain milestone to be able to buy a second business, which also is very wise, I think. Mm-hmm. Like that, to make sure that you have enough, knowledge and a big enough office to be able to buy a second one and not get,
overwhelmed.
Don't be a failure, because at the end of the day, if you fail, they fail. So
yeah. And so when did you acquire Lenoir?
December 14, but I told the guy, you run the show, the previous owner, you run the show until January 3rd, because I vowed to my family and my kids that I will not spend another Christmas buying the business. So that was for my 50. I'm going to turn 55. So.
It was this past January.
Yeah. It was my 55th birthday. So. I don't know. I might buy another one, but before my 60 probably.
Jerome, can we get into a little bit of just the business numbers? So what do margins look like in a home care agency doing $1 million a year?
10 to 15%. If you really run your show very well and very lean, you can probably achieve 20%. It's all a question of size. Right now, we're not where I want us to be, but I can probably 20% will be achievable in the next 2 years. It's just a question of volume. 15 to 20% is probably the good numbers there.
explain to us a little bit about the different types of home care, because there's tiers and it's, I mean, there can be hospice, I think, in some cases, all the way down to like no medical, like no medical care at all and everything in between. So how does that work?
Yeah. So first, you have agency who do Medicare and Medicare and agency who do not. Okay. When you do Medicare or Medicaid, you have more regulation. I don't do it. I think for one territory I would like to do it, but there's more constraint in terms of, the way you do things. Okay. So that's the first thing. Then after you have non-medical home care. So basically home care and what we call home health care, which is basically have a medical connotation, like it's like non-skilled and skilled, same thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. We at Visiting Angels only focus on non-skilled. We only do non-medical home care, which is basically basing, dressing, transferring, mobility, offering some transportation services, a medication reminder, laundry, light housekeeping, and a couple of other things, helping to dress and go to the bathroom and personal care and get clean and things like that. So that's what we do exclusively. Okay. When I was looking to buy a business, you have other agencies who do both, who do medical and non-medical. Okay. And with Insight, I think the model to be more focused on one instead of two is probably much better. Even so, I understand that when you do both, you probably have synergies that work together also as well. But I'm more comfortable doing just non-medical, and maybe, I don't know, maybe if I want to expand or do something else, I might buy just a medical agency because I will not be, I could do that also as well. But so medical is basically drawing blood, wound dressing, cutting nails, that's medical. I mean, so you basically need people who have more skill and more expensive, but you charge your services more, but it's for shorter period of time. So medical home health agency might come to give you showers. They probably will be there for 30 minutes or an hour max. Okay. Mm. A nurse might go there to help you with just dialysis or something like that, or your wound care. The nurse will be there for 15 minutes, no more. Mm-hmm. Home care, we can be there for a whole day, 24/7 need be. Day and night. Okay, so it's a longer shift, but it's a lower cost. Even so, it's still costly, it's a lower cost. So that's how it works. And then after, aside that, you have hospice care. So when people get on hospice, it's basically they've been diagnosed with a terminal illness by a doctor who says they have only 6 months to live. So just for the people out there, it's not because you're in hospice you're going to die. I had customers who were in hospice and went out of hospice. Okay, so it's not a fatality. All right. Okay. So you have hospice and you have, I think that's one of the main one probably that I know of. I'm pretty much in my silo, so I don't really look at the rest of the industry, but that's what I understand.
Great. I want to ask about growth and what a larger version of your business could look like. If somebody wanted to grow to a $5 million, $10 million home care business, what would that look like? Do you have to basically do that inorganically, or are the tailwinds such that you could do that organically? Let's start there.
You can do it organically. We have a lot of franchisees at Visiting Angels that are around that size, of $5 million, $6, $7 million businesses. Mm-hmm. I think actually Larry, with the brand owner is probably, I don't know what his number is, but it's probably very high, but he's in the city. But yes, you can grow it organically. Bigger than 10 million, that's going to be difficult because as a franchise, you have territory, so you probably will need to buy another territory to go to that side. But I think it's possible to, I know that there's one agency in my territory, one city was doing $1 million a year just on that small territory, and I've got 3 or 4 of them. So I can. Yes, it's all a question of finding the caregiver, but also having the right cultures. Because if you grow with no structure, then you're dead. So what I did the last 4 or 5 years, I put together a platform with a lot of trial and error, with tools that can help me grow very quickly. Okay. if you tell me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, can you hire 10 caregivers a week? We say, yes, but it's a lot of work, right? Now we can hire 10 caregivers a week very, very easily without batting an eye. It's not an issue anymore. Can you onboard 6 new customers a week? You told me that 2 years ago. I didn't have the organization for that. Now, yes, I can do 6. I can onboard 6, 10 customers a week, send a nurse, because in our state we have to send a nurse and everything else. Yes, I've organized in a way that we can do that. So now I have the platform. So next step is to grow the platform, and organically is probably what I want to do and what we will do.
And Jerome, assuming you can find the customers, what capacity do you think you're at? Like this platform that you've built, what capacity do you think it could support?
Oh, right now I'm nowhere to where I could be. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm nowhere. I mean,
okay.
I can't be at 10 million, but I think growing to $2-3 million a year is to $2 or $3 million is probably feasible within the next 2 to 3 years. Then after it depends of plenty of things. It's I think it's Mike Tyson once would say everyone has got a strategy until they receive the first punch, right? So
right.
So something can happen. COVID was a wreck ball in our industry, but we all went up better and stronger after it. It reshaped the way we do business. So it's some way it's not a blessing to have COVID, but it helped us. It helped the people evolve also as well. So we don't know what we can. The fact that we had quarantine, it was detrimental to our business because we couldn't send the caregivers. It was unavailable, so we were losing hours. So there was impact COVID. So it was not all easy. But yeah, I mean the business, it's a good business if you have a strong why and not a control freak.
And in terms of the capacity or the market, the addressable market for a home care agency, does it correlate basically to the population center? So Asheville is a small city, or does Visiting Angels, like in the middle of DC, the DC metro area, do they allocate territories based on population or based on actual
based on
mileage?
population? Based on population.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's based, if I remember, they base it on population and possible referral sources, doctors, hospital, a short-term a rehab facility, all those kind of things. I don't know what the recipe is in terms of, and it's probably a question for them. But I mean, what I like with them, people say franchise is a straitjacket, but what I like with Visiting Angels is and I listen to people or talk to people who have other brand, we have a good amount of liberty inside the jacket you have enough liberty inside the jacket to have fun. Okay. It's not the army there. Or, I mean, maybe the army is fun too. I've never been in the army. But, it's what we say in France. It's okay. It's not very strict and there is things that you need to do but they are wise decision taking by our franchisor in terms of the thing we need to do. I think they make from a business standpoint of view, it make a lot of sense. Like you have, for example, an obligation to spend on SEO and things like that. But that makes sense, It's not something that they force you to do it, but some way they don't force you, because if you don't do SEO, you're not going to go anywhere anyhow.
And it's not just about the straitjacket when you're considering a franchise network. It's also about the royalties you're paying, and are they delivering value to you?
Yes.
And it sounds like you touched on this earlier. You feel like your franchisor provides a lot of value.
We have an intranet, and man, there is so much value there. There is stuff that I didn't need that, if you're a starter at Visiting Angels, it's plug and play. They basically map out everything. You just, choose to apply the book, and it's fantastic the amount of intellectual properties that it put in that. And we have it's called intranet, and there is so many documents and how to do a marketing plan, or what to do SEO, or which vendor you can tab who have been vetted by head office to help you with A, B, Z, So how to train your caregiver, how to, it's huge. What the amount of data that they furnish is, good value for money. And the brand is one of the stronger brand in that field in the US. So it's what we buy. At the end of the day, your business is going to do between 10 and 20% bottom line, whether it's a franchise or not. Because what you don't spend, what you spend on franchising fee, you're going to have to spend it to make yourself known in the community. So you will need to spend more in marketing that with a franchise because they market for you.
Right. I think people often overlook. They think of the franchise, the license fee as just a tax. But if it's a good franchisor, that money that you're paying them, you would be paying otherwise in doing the services for yourself that the franchisor is providing to you, hopefully at an even better value.
For example, they ask you to commit to a certain, event that you need to go and things like that. It's not 5 times a year, but it makes sense because you meet other franchisee and you can, share and discuss what's working with them. So it's also a good system where you're not alone in your little ivory tower and you can talk and speak with those people who basically have the same issues and you say, we did that. So it's a community also.
And as I said, there seems to be quite a bit of interest in this type of business among people buying businesses and also from private equity. So from larger, better capitalized players. Do you see that as well? Is that something that's talked about from inside this industry? I heard it, I read it. I think one of our competitors have been bought by private equity. I don't know what's going to happen with Visiting Angels. I don't think that they want to do that. I don't think that the owner would like to do that. So it's up to him. At the end of the day, even if a private equity buys a brand, they will make sure that we on the ground are happy with them. So it's not like the franchisor is a boss and we are employee, right? It's like a wedding, It's like any partnership, They think you don't like and they think you like and you just have to go with the flow. And if you're not happy, you sell your business and do something else. So private equity, I heard family office also as well. We're present in that field. You need to have a very good operator to do that. You really need to have someone who knows the field, knows the volatility of the employee, because it's like the restaurant business. We have a high rate of, people coming and leaving. On the paper, it's a good industry to be with, but you really need to have good operator to do that. Well, let me ask that a little bit, Jerome. Let's say in your case, say you've gotten Asheville to the point where it's kind of running itself. It's I don't want to say the P word, passive, but it's kind of running itself. Then Lenore, you'll get it there. Maybe you have another couple of, maybe you buy another territory or two and you get them each to $2-3 million. That seems realistic. You say you're at 10, 15 million across 3 or 4 territories. And at some point you want to, let's say, step out of the business altogether. What does an operator look like to do this? A strategic operator, not just somebody who is doing the scheduling and doing the hiring, but somebody who you would really feel comfortable moving back to Destin and giving them the business to run while you retain your ownership of the business. What is that? Paint a picture of that strategic operator.
And it's a question that I'm going to address this Friday with a person who left me with a business, because that's actually the question that I have. And he asked me, why do you want someone? I mean, you just integrate Lenore, so it should be easier. But I think it's someone who understands the industry. It's someone which is very, very good with administrative. I'm crap at administrative. That's not, it ask me to fill a paperwork, taxing like that. I just have, I basically can't do it. Right. So my wife's very good at it. So we very, very complement each other on that. But administratively, someone who is strong, I never been a guy who liked to have follow process and things like that. I think I read the book Traction and I say, that's it. That's exactly what I need. I'm happy to do business development, to have the vision, to talk with other guys and try to see things and put the vision. And we have a strong vision in our I design a whole vision. We design a whole vision, and we want to be the best agent to work for in our territory. That's a very strong statement that we're making. And we work with 3 big values, which are, integrity, communication, and professionalism. That's really how we coach all our decision. So someone who can understand my vision there to be the best agency to work for in my territory. I want my caregiver to say, hey, don't go anywhere else, go work with Visiting Angels as the best in town. Because if I have the best caregivers, then I've got the best customer. And then having that person who can basically do the day-to-day operation, customer consideration, workers' comp, we are just an injured caregiver today. There's plenty of little things every day in the office that you need to tick the boxes. And I'm not good at ticking boxes. I'm good at doing lists, but I'm not good at following them. So basically someone I can do a list for and hand it over and say, hey, here's your week. So yeah, and someone who basically also want to be part of the adventure to grow something big, because we really have right now, I really have 2 agencies that can be much, much bigger than what they are. So it's basically probably sharing also as well part of that growth.
Great, Jerome. Last question. Since you've started this adventure in the home care space, what muscles would you say you've developed, and what muscles would you say have atrophied?
The desire for control is smaller than it used to be. Not because I want it, but because I can't. So that's a good one. A listening skill is probably something that I developed. Trying to follow the process. Visiting Angels give you plenty of good tips as a franchisor, and I was not always listening, but now I'd rather, one of the guys I talked to who's very successful business at Visiting Angels say, it's very simple. We just do everything that head office, we call them head office, it shows us that it works. So that was all this. And I think that probably that, maybe more listening skill. And I learned not to fear anymore. Trust myself. And that was a big one. Because I didn't trust myself as a business owner. If you have told me 5 years ago, you're going to end up an agency and you have probably 60, 70 employees. Wow. Me? Now it's just like, I want to grow bigger, but I want to have a business where people enjoy being there. That's important.
And anything that you think skill that you previously had that has that's not as strong anymore?
Yes, very funnily. I used to be good at looking at finance and spreadsheet and things like that. Not anymore. I can still get into it, but I used to be like a geek in terms of you can throw me financial, and now I'm not. I don't even. It's not that it bore me. It's just like if you send me another business to buy, I would probably dig into it, but less intensively than the first one. Because you get, instead of going too much into details, you go. When you run 1 or 2 business, you go straight to the essentials. So that's probably something that I developed more is being able to go straight for it. Whether it's hiring person or making a decision right now, I need to make a decision about my SEO spending on both agency and several people, and at some point it's going to be, okay, what's essential, and okay, let's go, and that's it.
Jerome, this has been great. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you would want to share with the audience?
Well, that's funny you asking that question. I always ask questions to people also as well. Whether it's an interview or someone I talk to, or I say always, what is the question I haven't asked you that I should have asked you?
It's a good question, right?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a very good question. It's a good question too. I don't know probably what's next. And the answer is, I don't know, as you say, probably, I don't know if I'm going to buy 1 or 2 more, or if I'm going to buy something different or look for something different, or there is a lot of uncertainty. I'm actually looking at a couple of things too. We're going back and forth in my wife. Her parents not getting younger, and they're in Europe, so there's a possibility that maybe we move to Europe, but it won't be now so there is a lot of things in Europe right now. So it's a bit more complicated, but I need first to get those two puppies up and running very well.
Well, here's a question for you, Jerome, because we asked this. We talked about this in the pre-call. The way you're talking about your business today, it seems like it's basically quite successful, and you're really happy with this. But those hard moments, particularly those first 6 months, and then in learning how to do this business, learning how to schedule correctly, how to hire correctly, how to treat your caregivers like customers, was actually quite challenging, really hard. And what I asked you was, would you do this all over again? Like if you now what you knew then, would you go down this path? And I think you said no, but that your wife would say yes, or do I have that backwards? But one of you was a no.
The other way around. My wife was a no.
Okay.
My wife was strong no. My wife was a strong no. For me, yes. I think I'm where I'm supposed to be. Okay, being a control freak, I bought the business that helped me not being a control freak anymore, or less of a control freak anymore. So I bought my own medicine. So if that makes sense, I bought something that take me out of my ways and destroy completely me, and I was all over the place and help me to construct as a person and a business owner. So I loved it for that. Mm-hmm. There is probably things I would do different, and sitting on my purse I would probably spend more quicker. I lost time there. I really lost time in terms of how I should have done things, and because I was in fear, and when you're in fear, you take that decision, and I forgot that I was a guy who decided on a whim to go live in the US or move from Destin to Asheville, just following the flow. So I don't know. If the flow happen again, I will be more following the flow, whatever it means. Mm-hmm. Okay, whether it's home care, but I look at other business. I look at fencing company. When I was investing, I look at plenty of other businesses, a boat rental, management company. But I always wanted to do something that has a meaning. And some of the employees that I have are here because the business has a meaning. They just don't want to be in a business. They want to be in a business that has a meaning. And engineering good caregiver for mom and dad, it has a meaning, basically. And we all very, very, at the office level, we're all very careful with what happened to we communicate on a regular basis to make sure that our caregiver does the right thing and the customer will treat it. That's very important to me. And to my staff too. They know that, and that's why they hire too.
I'll close with one other little visual that you'd given me on our pre-call, that this is the type of business where when people are wearing your caregivers are wearing their Visiting Angels t-shirts at the grocery store or whatever, people will come up to them and thank them for their service. Do I have that right?
Yeah. I mean the whole healthcare industry, whether it's a nurse or PT, OT, caregiver, CNAs, it's not an easy job. You're going in people's homes. Sometimes you are wanted but not wanted, because mom and dad knows that they have to have a caregiver. If they want to stay at home, if they don't, then the family will send them in a nursing home. So there is that kind of, so it's not easy. And to take care of, cleaning someone, it's okay to clean. I have done the diaper for my kids, but for an elderly, it's not necessarily easy. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for those guys. They're really heroes.
Jerome, thank you very much for coming on and sharing this story. What an adventure with real why and meaning behind it. Beautiful stuff. Great to hear about this industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Will. Goodbye.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. Make sure you subscribe to the Acquiring Minds channel below. We are now publishing twice a week, so tons of new interviews and stories to come. Stories that will help you along your own path to acquiring a business.